Hey guys, Dave here again. We've been talking about doing some videos where we give you a reason to pledge to Pro Wrestling X, and one of the biggest criticisms we've gotten is that we failed to tell the personal story behind the project. So I'm going to tell perhaps the most personal story behind this project. I've been trying to record this video since, early this morning. I haven't been able to get through it. So please bear with me. It's going to be kind of tough. If you just want to look at happy, shiny screenshots and that, move along. This is going to be different. This is a man you don't know, because I don't talk about him a lot, because it's kind of hard. This is, or was going to be, one of the best and most popular wrestlers in the world. It is Big Mike Wishnowski, my dad. When he was a kid, he had big dreams. He loved pro wrestling, and I don't think there's anything that he loved more in terms of entertainment and hobbies and what he wanted to watch and do and be. That was his dream. Pro wrestling was a huge dream of his. He could have done it. Big, strong like bull man. But it was a different time, hard times, and before he finished school, he dropped out to take care of his family. His mom and dad went to work full-time as a teenager, dropped out of school, gave up his education to take care of his family. It's the kind of guy he was. He always put his family before himself, and that was the beginning of the rest of his life, really. So the wrestling dreams on hold. Big Mike Wishnowski had a family to take care of, but some years went by. He got bigger, stronger. The pro wrestling love and dream never died, and when he was at his peak, man, he could have went down to Calgary. He could have trained with the Hearts. He could have been in Stampede Wrestling. But something else took him by surprise. Well, maybe not surprise. I'd like to think they were trying. Little Dave Wishnowski. It's me right there on my mom's lap. My dad preferred to hold the dog. I guess. So pro wrestling dreams? Nope. He took a job working hard labor, and worked hard labor for the rest of his life. From that point forward, 5, 6, 7 days a week, overtime, hard labor, heavy machinery, heavy equipment, fighting forest fires. Saved a guy's life once in a forest fire, fighting it. That was my dad, Big Mike Wishnowski. And he passed on the love of wrestling, because let me tell you, if ever there was a guy who deserved to sleep in on the weekend and sit on the couch drinking beer all weekend because he worked so damn hard, it was my dad. But he didn't. He'd get up on the weekend early before everyone else, cook us all breakfast, take my brother and I to our Little League games and bowling lessons, and damn it, I hated bowling, but he took me. And wrestling. It was a ritual Saturday. No matter where you were in the house or even outside in the yard, you would hear, "David, wrestling's on." I'd come running, my brother come running, and we'd watch the wrestling, man. Stampede Wrestling was huge back in those days because we lived in Western Canada. And whenever he could, we didn't always have a ton of money, he'd buy tickets and we'd go see Stampede Wrestling live and in person. Now imagine what that's like as a wrestling fan. Sitting 5 feet from the ring, Stampede Wrestling, watching Bret Hart, British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant. I mean, you name it. I got to see it because my dad took me. He made sure that if we could go, we did. In fact, it was the only time he would ever let me give anyone the finger. Was when we were at Stampede Wrestling, I was allowed to flip off the bad guys. Dynamite Kid actually turned around once and told me to go fook myself. So, how many other people can claim that memory, huh? Stampede Wrestling. Dynamite Kid. Go fook yourself, kid. Thanks, Dad. That's the kind of man he was. That's what he did for me. That's why I love wrestling. That's, why I love wrestling video games, and partly, while I'm trying to make one. Time went on. Dad got older, and I moved away from home. Long way from home, 1,000 miles from home, actually. I didn't see him as much as I wanted to. I talked with him almost every weekend. Subject always came up. Would you see what Stone Cold did, on Monday night and stuff like that. It was always about wrestling. That's where we connected, generation gap. It was always the wrestling, the fondest memories. But towards the end of his life, he got really sick. Diabetes, cancer. But he did manage. He did manage to come visit one last time to meet his granddaughter, Angel. My daughter. I love this pic. Dad was sick, and I got a call one day from my mom. Dad's in the hospital. Which, he was sick off and on. That wasn't too uncommon in those days. But what shook me was what she said next. Dad wants you to bring his boots. My dad had given me his work boots a couple of years previous. He was a retired old guy. He's not going to use work boots. Passing on his kid his work boots is like, I don't know. Yeah, passing on a family heirloom kind of. And I knew what that meant. My dad always said that he didn't want to die sick and alone. He wanted to go down fighting. He wanted me to come, bring his boots, so he could die with his boots on. I hadn't been terribly successful in life up to that point. I hadn't been able to make my dad proud. I hadn't been able to buy him that 57 Chevy that I knew he wanted. But I could bring the old man his boots, So, hopped in the car, and we drove overnight. It was a 24-hour drive, non-stop. I would stop on the way there every while and phone, yeah, your dad's okay. Your dad's okay. He's looking forward to seeing you. And I got about an hour away from Saskatoon, where he was in the hospital, and I called and called about my dad, and the nurse said, you should call your family. Dad had passed away. I wasn't there. And I couldn't even bring him his goddamn boots. I don't remember hanging up the phone. I don't remember walking back to the car. But I do remember sitting there with my dad's empty boots in my lap. And knowing that I'd failed. And I would not get a chance to make this one up. I wouldn't wish that feeling on my worst enemy. So, a reason to make a wrestling game? Yeah, I got a reason. Because it would pay tribute to this man. The love of wrestling he gave me could produce something that a lot of people could enjoy. And it would make a lot of people happy to get this wrestling game in their hands, the silly little wrestling games. He would have loved to have known that the love of wrestling that he passed on to me helped me achieve some kind of success and make a lot of people happy. Because this right here, this is the greatest wrestler who by choice never was. But this is also the greatest dad who ever was, is, and ever will be. And if you're looking for a reason to help us out and pledge, this is it. This man is it right here. Big Mike Wisnowski. I would very much appreciate your support. Thank you very much for watching.